in this next segment, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about grocery shopping. How many of you love grocery shopping? It's a necessary evil, right? And it's especially hard when you're changing the way you eat and you go grocery shopping, because there's things you're used to putting in your grocery cart, right? And now all of a sudden you're thinking, what do I buy? So I'm going to try to make this a little bit easier for learning how to eat more plant-based and what things you can go buy that can help you as you're menu planning and deciding, what to have during the week for food. Let me first say that in a grocery store, your best places to go is the produce department. And then second, beyond that, I would say would be the aisle where all the canned vegetables are, although they're not as good as fresh, your frozen vegetables, and where your beans and legumes and such are. Most of the inside part of a grocery store is packaged food and highly processed foods, and that's where you're going to get a lot of your sugars and your sweeteners and fats, and just highly processed food just isn't as best for you. So try to stock your pantry with whole foods and whole grains and nuts and seeds and beans and those things. That's what you want to have your pantry full of. And there are times you do need something because you're just pressed for time and you want something that is something you can just grab quick and easy and cook it up. So I'm not completely against packaged food, but I try to avoid it as much as possible, right? And another thing that I have found, just another little tip, when you are cooking something that is a whole grain, for example, the brown rice. I made the brown rice tonight in my Instant Pot. Anybody here have an Instant Pot? I love my Instant Pot. And to make my brown rice, I just put in 2 cups of brown rice, 2.5 cups of water, a teaspoon of salt, and I hit it for 24 minutes on the manual button. And then I just walk away from it. And 24 minutes plus a few minutes for it to come down off pressure and go up to pressure. Maybe half an hour, I have a big pot of brown rice. And that's about half the time if you were to cook it on the stove or in the oven. But I'm not going to eat a big pot of brown rice on one sitting, so I will freeze it in freezer bags and such. Same thing with the lentils, and cook those in the Instant Pot or any of your beans, and then freeze some of it. So when you are needing a quick and easy meal, and tomorrow you don't have a lot of time to prep, you can just pull stuff out of the freezer, put it in your fridge overnight, let it thaw out, and the next day just warm it up, and you've got a healthy dinner that is much better than a convenience packaged food, okay? Just a little tip that I have found to be helpful. So when it comes to eating plant-based, to me, the simplest thing is take things that you already like and then just make substitutions, okay? So let's talk about some options of what that would look like. And on your handout, we'll look at the page that says plant-based substitutions. This is the one I'm mostly going to be pulling from to give you ideas. So let's say you were like, I'd really like to have enchiladas for dinner. We love enchiladas, okay? But most enchiladas are either a cheese enchilada or a beef enchilada, okay? So that's what you're used to. So now you're thinking, okay, I'm eating more plant-based, so what could I do to substitute for the protein that is in my enchilada? So I go to the grocery store and I look at my options. There's actually quite a few different options you could pick from. Maybe one of the easiest options would be just to use beans. You can use a refried bean, a vegetarian refried bean. Or one that I recently did that was really good was black beans and then cubed and oven roasted sweet potatoes. Mix those two together, add a little salsa with it, and fill your enchiladas with that. It's got the protein from the black beans. The sweet potatoes give it a little bit of a sweetness. It's really good, okay? Then you put your enchilada sauce on top, and then you're thinking, okay, now I usually would put cheese on top of this, right? So we've given you a cheese sauce tonight that you had. You could put that potato carrot cheese sauce on there. Or The other cheese sauce I gave in there is one I use often in mac and cheese. It's a cashew coconut milk base. It's really good. Some of you guys had that at the plant-based potluck the other night. So that's another really awesome cheese sauce. Or if you're really pressed for time and you don't have time to make a cheese sauce, you could do a sprinkle of the, wherever we had them, that were out here a moment ago. Something like a plant-based dairy-free cheese. There are a lot of different types out there, and they don't all taste the same. So you might want to experiment. I probably bounce between the Daya or the Violife brand the most, but these are not as healthy as a homemade cheese sauce. They tend to have a little bit more oil in them. So that would make you made enchiladas, okay? Let's say you're like, I really like to have, a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, okay? But I'm not eating bacon anymore, so what am I gonna put on my sandwich? So you buy some tempeh, which is a soybean that is it's actually the whole soybean, just been fermented, and you slice this into thin slices. You can find recipes for this online. I don't have one on me right now, but it's a marinade that is made with like soy sauce or coconut liquid aminos, a little hickory smoke flavor that gives it the bacony taste, some onion powder, different things, and you marinate in there for like an hour, and then you either put in your air fryer or you bake it in the oven, and it gets all nice and crispy, and you've got bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. Oh, but you got to have mayo on that. So mayo, we're gonna pick up some vegan Hellmann's, where all the mayos are. This is a vegan version. And so now you have a little mayo to go on your sandwich, okay? Or maybe you're like, I want a pizza, okay? What can we put on our pizza? Well, again, we can put either some shreds or we can make our own sauce. So basically you take recipes that you already eat and then you just think, what can I substitute inside? You want to do fajitas one night. What can I do for a fajita? So I'm going to show you a couple different options. I tend to try to move more to the ones that are less processed. There are some like vegetarian meat substitutes out there. Sometimes I will get one of those. I don't try to do it very often. One that is very good, but it's hard to find in a local grocery store, but you can order these online. These are called Butler Soy Curls, and it is just soybeans. There is no other additional ingredients in this. They cook it, they put it through a certain type of a machine that stretches it, and they're dehydrated, so when you add water to them, or like a broth, like a vegetable broth, they swell up, and then you can bake them or fry them, brown them, and they have the texture consistency of like chicken. So I really like soy curls. I put them in a lot of different things. These are awesome for fajitas or anything where you want like a chicken substitute. So that's an option. Seitan is another type of a vegetarian meat product. It's made from wheat gluten, so if you have a wheat sensitivity or allergy, you wouldn't want to do this one. But it also has, you can kind of see maybe the backside of it a little bit. Again, it has a very meaty texture. Maybe one day I'll do a class here where I show you how to make your own seitan. It's not hard to make, and if you have an Instant Pot, it's even easier to make, but it's a little cheaper and easier to find. I mentioned tofu. There's so many different things you can do. So here's another idea for a recipe. So let's say you want to make manicotti. You want to make something Italian or a lasagna, okay? So most lasagnas or manicotti have ricotta in them, right? But we're trying to move away from the dairy, so we're going to instead use tofu. So on your recipe that had the cheeses on it, on the back side was a recipe for creamy cottage cheese or ricotta. Basically, it's just one block of this with some seasonings and a little mayo added to it, and you have your own ricotta. And you can then put that inside your manicotti noodles or inside your vegetable lasagna, and it's a great plant-based protein. Here's one that I bought at Kroger, the same place where the tofus are sold. Field and roast Italian garlic and fennel plant-based sausages. These taste pretty good. Great in like an Asian or like Italian type of dish. They also have a sage and apple flavor. Then you can find burgers. I would encourage you to try to stay away from, as much as you can, the Impossible Burgers and the Beyond Burgers. Those burgers have been designed to really imitate meat, which is why if you go to a steakhouse, you can often get a burger made with one of those, and if you're a meat eater, you probably would never even tell the difference. While they are plant-based, they have about the same amount of saturated fat in them as a regular burger because of all the coconut oil that's in them, and they have about the same amount of fat and calories. So they're not an ideal thing, but if you're in a pinch and you're out to eat with your family and they're all getting burgers and that's where you're at, you do have an option of a plant-based burger by getting an Impossible or Beyond Burger. This particular one is a Gardein plant-based burger, and it has 20 grams of protein in it, which is quite a bit. Aldi's has several different plant-based meat things. I found this one not too long ago, and it was a plant-based taco filling. And this is pantry shelf stable, so that was nice. I grabbed several of them so that I would have them in a pinch when I didn't have time to make something on my own. So those are some different plant-based meat substitutes that we have there. Let's look at some other things that we have over here. She mentioned protein for a lot. Here is another way to get protein, and that's through pasta that is not made with wheat. These are made with chickpeas, and these ones are made with red lentils. This one has 13 grams of protein, and this one has 20 grams of protein. So you can get a lot of extra protein by just using one of these bean types of pasta. And if you're gluten-free, it's a really great option too. Let's see what else we've got up here. I was at Ollie's, and they had, is that what, Ollie's? And they often have plant-based stuff because I guess people don't buy those in the store. So they go there, and then they get them real cheap. These were black bean kale soup. It was so good. And I think we found some Lara bars there too. This is a really good dessert if you're looking for something that's plant-based, and they only usually have 4 ingredients: dates, nuts, this one has chocolate chips in it too, but a nice little sweet. Okay, so let's look at some different type of dairy substitutes. So we talked about milk substitutes. There are lots of different versions out there. This is an almond milk. You can now get coconut milk, oat milk, so many different forms of milks out there. Here is a plant-based, see, a lot of these name brands like Hellmann's have like gotten on the plant-based wagon. Philadelphia cream cheese plant-based. You know, it's almost like they're like, oh, I've got to cash in on all the people who are not getting Philadelphia cream cheese anymore. So they come up with a no dairy version. Well, it actually tastes pretty legit. We'll give that one away to somebody. Yogurts, lots of different, and the nice thing about a lot of these things, they're found in the same place where you would normally find your yogurt or your cream cheese. Just look around and you'll find where the plant-based versions are. This is Silk dairy-free yogurt. There is a unsweetened almond milk one that's really good. There's a coconut one. And I was talking with the people at the table over here. We were talking about a diabetic friendly sweeteners. And I was mentioning one that I really like, and it's stevia sweet drops. I will get the unsweetened yogurt and then just add a couple drops of the stevia sweet drops or their berry flavored one, and then add my own fruit to it. Add a little granola on there, and you have an awesome parfait for breakfast. And you're getting good probiotics, but you're not getting any dairy. Okay, another, we were talking about main brands are going plant-based. Hidden Valley Ranch, plant-powered, okay? Same area where all the Hidden Valley ranches are, but this one is a dairy-free version. Still got oil and stuff in it, but it's an option. And if you have this on your plate, in your fridge, your family will just grab it thinking it's regular ranch and not even know. Speaking of which, remember what happened when you had this in your fridge? Breyers oat milk ice cream. Your husband had no idea.
No.
He was like, "Oh, that's such a good ice cream." You're like, "Oh, the oat milk one?" You're like, "No, the Breyers one." Yeah, the oat milk one.
Yeah.
You never would know.
He likes that.
That's good, yeah. I mean, it's still got sugar in it, but when you craving an ice cream, there's an option. This is a nut pods. They make really nice little flavored creamers. This one's the toasted marshmallow. So if you have a hot drink, you want to put a little something of that in it. Cheeses. So you can get shreds. You can get slicing cheeses as well. This is American, so grilled cheese sandwich. You can still do something like that. Let's say you want to substitute eggs in a recipe. So one of the ones that I will use often is tofu. Another option it mentions is flaxseed. Now these are not ground, but you can grind flaxseed or buy ground flaxseed. They're very high in omega-3s, but they also imitate eggs in any baked recipe. So you take 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed, add 3 tablespoons of water to that, just let it sit for just a couple minutes, and it will thicken up into like this gelatinous egg white kind of consistency. Chia seeds will do the same thing. And you can put that in muffins or breads or things like that where you're making a baked good. Or pancakes, I'll put it in a pancake batter.
In there?
Yeah.
You mentioned buy ground flaxseed. Once you buy the ground flaxseed, because
Yes.
it's already been ground, it's lost a lot of its nutrient value. You want to buy them whole and grind them yourself.
Yeah, and you can get a little seed grinder thing for like $10. So that's what I'll do and grind what I need for that meal. Another thing, if you, let's say, we're going to be having a breakfast plant-based class coming up this spring, and one of the things I will often do is use tofu to make a scrambled egg, and then here's a little secret ingredient, India black salt. India black salt smells eggy, tastes eggy. You sprinkle a little of this on it and it tastes just like eggs. So fun little thing I came across recently. Another thing that I have used as an egg substitute in recipes is chickpea flour, which is just garbanzo bean flour. We have a really awesome waffle recipe. Maybe we'll have that at the plant-based breakfast one too. And it uses chickpea flour to add protein to the recipe, also substitutes for the egg in the recipe. So there's, like I said, you take a recipe and then you look at your list and say, okay, what can I use? Oh, if it calls for cream, okay, let's say I want to make an Alfredo sauce and I want it to be kind of creamy, what can I use for that? Or let's say I want to make a pumpkin pie, and a pumpkin pie has usually eggs in it and condensed milk. So I will use a coconut milk or a coconut cream to substitute for the cream in the recipe. And in the case of my pumpkin pie, it also has cornstarch in it, which substitutes for the egg, and that's what sets it up when it bakes. And it is the best pumpkin pie. Let's see, any others on here I have missed? Oh, when it comes to broths, I really like this reduced sodium seasoned vegetable base better than bouillon. I buy this big one at Costco. I also have seen this no chicken base one, and it's looks like chicken bouillon. They actually sell this at Frank's. I was shocked. I saw it in there the other day. But this is nice if you're making, let's say, a chicken noodle soup or something like that, and you want to have more of like a chicken base. It's not chicken. All right. I think we have covered every little thing I have up here. Oh, except for the big one. My plant-based protein powder. I buy this at Costco, but you can buy it at other places as well. This one has 21 grams of protein in 2 scoops. It comes in vanilla and chocolate. Sometimes they have other flavors. I make smoothies with this. This is a pea protein, actually. So it's just made with peas. It has also superfoods in it, and it makes really great protein shakes, or I'll add it to a smoothie in the morning with some chia seeds and fruit, frozen fruit, and lots of greens, and that will sustain me all morning with a really good plant-based protein. Any questions about substitutions? You kind of get the idea. You just look for different things that you would normally make and then say, what can I put in this recipe instead to make it a little healthier and more natural. Brought some different cookbooks up here that I have found. This is one I just purchased. I started watching this lady on YouTube. Her name is Sam Turnbull. She's got a YouTube channel called It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken. And what was cool about this particular cookbook is it's on all the different things you kind of crave for, like cheesy things or sweet things, and so it's, or creamy things. It's kind of in categories like that, which is kind of a fun way to categorize a cookbook. Another one, aquafaba. This is another egg substitute, and basically aquafaba just means bean water. So when you drain a can of beans, like white beans or cannelli beans, you can save the water from that, and 3 tablespoons of that will act like an egg in any recipe. It also whips up, and you can make even things like lemon meringue pies and meringues and stuff like that, which you wouldn't think you could make without eggs, but you can using aquafaba. It has the same properties as they're in eggs that act the same way. It was a chemist to figure that out. Got this one for Christmas 2 years ago, vegan air fryer cookbook. And if you are into pressure cooking, like with an Instant Pot, there are different ones you can get that are recipes to use with your pressure cooker. Here's a vegan baking one. So I have too many cookbooks. But it's fun. This was just Italian recipes. Forks Over Knives, awesome documentary. And I think I put this one up just on a grocery checkout aisle, you know, where they have the magazines. You just look, you'll sometimes see Forks Over Knives, different magazines that they have. Pick one up if you find one, because they're just a couple dollars and they're full of recipes. And what I love about Forks Over Knives is that all the recipes are whole food, plant-based, and they're designed for people to reverse disease. Simply vegan, and then this last one is just breakfast foods. So anyways, I'll leave those up here in case anybody wants to browse or take photos of anything. And any questions? All right.